Welcome, everyone, to the bluest book of them all, the Blue Book, the Book of Blueness. Yes, 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 yes. And of course, let me introduce our head girl, Mylin Clement, the prettiest girl of PG County. Okay, okay, okay. And of course, she's bold, she's beautiful, and she's got a nice red lip. All the way from the West Coast, our girl with the most, Atia Ziad. Mm. And she's a vision, and she's in purple. But you already know what's up. That's our girl from the South. The South, excuse me. Miss Milan Moshe. Hey. And me, Alana Harris. Enough said. And we begin.
Y'all, on the 20th, we got rid of that man's. He done. He gone. And guess what? Our man's Joe and our good sis Kamala are in the house. And nothing could stop what was going to happen on that day. And let me tell you, we saw a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day. Let me tell you. Now we had the Clintons, we had the Bushes, we had the Obamas, and they were all looking spick and span and clean. And I really do appreciate what was being worn that day and the representation that from different fashion icons and their work that was being done during that specific day. So I would like to have some claps for that because everybody looked beautiful even during a time where we're in the midst of the pandemic and there are not a lot of people and a lot of audience members on the outside, but there are a lot of people looking from domestic to international, that this was a glorious day where we left that freaking orange and we are now in presidency, like legit presidency, and that I am proud to say that we are making America greater than it was a few days ago. So I'm very proud. So how are my sissies feeling?
I mean, I think we feel amazing. Shout out to Kamala, a Howard grad,
a long time coming,
and a soror. So, congratulations to her. But of course, we should still be critical of our leaders. We don't officially stand our politicians. We criticize them carefully, but I mean, we can still celebrate. But it's just a good transition. There were some bumps, but we made it. We're here, y'all. We're here.
Hopefully we'll see some new and great changes to the government and the way it runs. So looking forward to that.
Even Dr. Fauci looks perkier now, They see the little pictures, his cheeks are all rosy.
That man has been torn down.
He got a new man, y'all. He's excited. He's got that new man glow. Or, new partner glow. Excuse me. So good for Fauci. And they will all get that glow. I'm joking.
Well, speaking of Dr. Fauci, because, Biden is handling this crisis. Now, he's not playing. Okay, because I feel like in the last couple of months we were playing. It was just, I don't know, spin the wheel and see what's going to happen. But right now we have our leader Fauci at the center stage, and he's going to tell it how it is. He said that he didn't feel safe to come out with a lot of information that he wanted to say during the last administration. So I have his back. We all have his back. And, Biden is trying to have social distancing required within federal buildings by federal employees and in federal areas. So that's good. And they're doing the 100 days masking challenge for regular Americans, which is nice and whatever. But sorry, if you've not been masking for the last couple of months, you are late. You are definitely late. What? You haven't been masking? You could, I don't know. I don't have time for a mess like that. But um, I'm just happy that we have people who actually know what they're doing within uh, this government, who are not being muzzled during this period of time. And another thing that has to deal with health is that we're rejoining the World Health Organization, which the Trump administration chose to withdraw from the nation's membership, which is like one of the worst things you can do within as a member of the United Nations. You should not be withdrawing from any of their services. And the United States is one of the largest contributors, actually the largest contributor to the United Nations. So it wouldn't even be smart to do so, because once we withdraw, then everything starts failing in other countries, and that's not necessarily the best thing economically. So then we're also rejoining the Paris Climate Accords, which President Biden is also helping. And like I could go on so far, but like just like a small
make loans. You have to start payment on loans push back to September. I think that's what I heard.
Yes. Yeah, they're trying to do the $50,000 of loans for student loans will be accredited to people who actually took out student loans in the past years. So that's something that's good on our end that could be helpful. So, I mean, that's great financially for anyone who's in debt. Because I know I'm one of those people, and 50,000 would help a little. Like I would, because at first when they were talking about rolling out with the 10,000, I was like, 10,000 is not going to do crap for someone who has done bachelor's, and I'm doing I'm doing
bachelor's and masters.
Yes, and I'm doing hopefully law. So that's like 50,000 will be great for me instead of 10,000, because 10,000 is nothing. I can pay off 10,000 like in a couple of years. Like it's not going to take that long. But also something that I think is very important for us to talk about is like DACA and immigration, and the Muslim ban, because that's to me one of the most important things, because I feel like all of us have like friends who are immigrants from their country, from other countries, or their parents have been immigrants from other countries. And so to have those kinds of conversations at the forefront, I think is like incredibly important. How do you feel about DACA and the Muslim ban being reversed?
Oh, I'm glad, because it's really sad having those people lose their benefits or whatever, and then like hoping they could stay in the country that they know the best. So yeah, and then America's been hating on Muslims for the longest, so letting them come into the country is great.
And I think what originally it was the biggest issue was the Muslim ban. It was like nations that weren't even a majority, or at least it didn't include a lot of countries that were practicing Islam. It was just nations that you thought were Muslim nations. Not that there's anything wrong, or but I'm saying like those seem like Muslim nations, even if the majority of those nations weren't actually practicing, or were practicing the Islamic faith. So it's just it's like a racist ban. It is a racist.
When are we gonna stop hating on religions? Like, they all pray. They're all trying to like live a good life and everything. Like, they pretty much have very similar practices, even if it's not all the same. Like,
and maybe you could say, they have some of these members of this religion seem radical and crazy. Well, there's a fair amount of people,
radical and crazy people in every like religion, gender, like all of that.
There are a lot of Christian men who were enslaving people for years.
So. Christianity has a long history of that kind of thing.
I mean, I think every religion, or religion is a religion, but it's how you enforce it, or not enforce it, how you practice it is the relevant part. So it's, that's my little spiel on that.
Yeah, it wasn't just also like Muslim countries, it was also like African nations. And to me, even Trump's comment on S-hole countries, like who are you talking about? Like you're talking about people of color. I have literally like friends in Asian countries who cannot come over to this country because they can't get a visa, but they're very talented and they want to go to school here and they can't do so, even though it would be granting them a better opportunity. Now, since we're in this situation in 2021, hopefully, Biden, which he is doing, all those also all those like Muslim countries and African countries that were being like put off are now in full reprocessing mode. So any of those people who try to put in applications, they'll be able to reapply basically or continue the process. So they won't be necessarily on hold as they were before. So I think that's also a big positive. And so, I mean, I feel like immigration is like such a large issue that is such a heated issue depending on who you are, and I feel like it does really split the country. It's like one of the largest issues when talking about who's American and who's not American, because I feel like the American identity is always like, I don't know, perpetuated in a way that it's like it's a white man. It's always a white man. And if a European person comes over here, I feel like it's different than a person who is coming from maybe Latin America or Africa or Asia, because it's just to me very troubling. I mean, Milan, like, how
Yeah.
do you feel? Because I know that, like, in the past, we've had conversations like this.
I think it's good that they're reinstating DACA and whatnot, especially like for people like that live with their families, like they have DACA and like their family or their parents might not. Like that's scary. So like at least like you're good like all the way around. And then like they're also letting in more refugees and whatnot because they like paused that because Trump had like reduced the number to like less than like 5,000 a year, which is like a long process in of itself. And so like now they can come here and be like in a safer condition too.
Yeah. I think in general, we're going to be in a better situation than we were in last year. We've also like increased inclusion within the White House. The staff members had to pledge to like agree to the new regulations of how their the way that they interact with others are going to be safer, whether it's LGBT, African American, even the language of what Trump was using for slavery is going to be basically terminated. And so we're in a way of change. So I just want people to know that we're improving. The US is improving of what it was in the last 4 years. And I do, even though Elon is totally correct, that definitely we must keep an eye on this administration because they are not, out of the clear. But this is much better than what we were doing during the 4 years.
Well, I think we should talk about Trump's impeachment that happened. Yes, the House impeached him. Second time in a row.
3 times.
Yes. Okay, so that's great. So we know that at least somebody has held him accountable for the things he's said and done. Senate is up next, but they're gonna wait until like February 8th, sometime in that week, to go through the impeachment trial of Trump. Because they want to wait until after they confirm Biden's picks. Yeah, that's just about it.
That'll be interesting.
Hopefully they impeach him this time. I don't want that man coming back. We've had enough of him.
Bye. But of course, as he was leaving, he said, "I'm gonna do one more thing." Every president, they always got to do their clemencies, their pardons.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know. There were a lot of rumors about who was Trump gonna pardon. At one point, some people thought Joe Exotic, the Tiger King himself, but no,
Nice.
he was not. included. A lot of the people he did pardon were his rich, wealthy friends, but not his family though, which is surprising. But a lot of rich, wealthy friends. Roger Stone, one of them, and a few people in the who in the culture. I don't know whose culture.
Do you want to accept them in the culture?
I mean, do we? Well, of course, number one, the Kodak Black, musician, rapper, and with a checkered history. He was pardoned. So, I mean, I read. Why even talk about him? But good for him with his allegedness and also, of course, Wheezy Baby, Lil Wayne, Mr. Carter, was also pardoned, which is, I mean, you know what? If you're gonna, I'm glad he was pardoned because.
What was he pardoned for again?
So it was like handling of a gun, and he because of his previous history, he wasn't allowed to have a gun. So when he was caught with the gun, he was like, yeah, that's what the crime. That's what he was That's what the crime was for. But I think the argument was that because he's a nonviolent, because of his nonviolent past, it's like the argument was that it's a violation of the Second Amendment because he should be able to have a gun even though he doesn't. Anyway, that was like the argument. But what happened, Mr. Wheezy Baby? Oh yes. So flashback rewind to 2020 when during election season, he came out as a strong supporter of Trump's Platinum Plan, which was supposed to help support Black businesses and of course businesses across in Black communities. But I mean, all right, Wheezy, I guess. You know, I will say I'm glad Trump had your back at the end. So good for you, Mr. Carter. Good for you. I just, it's the rise and fall of artists. You're young, you're like, oh man, we love Wheezy. Come on, Lil Wayne. Then you're like, man, what's Wayne up to, bro? But
hanging on that thread.
I'm just saying he had more support from Trump than Herman Cain did. So let's talk about that. But what was interesting was one thing also with the pardons, you can get pardoned and it doesn't have to be announced. Like it can be like a pocket pardon. You can put it in your pocket for later. So the thing is, Trump actually might have pardoned his family, or maybe he might have. We don't know. And we might never know unless, it comes up later that someone is about to be indicted or prosecuted for a crime. He's like, oh, actually, I have this pardon from the president a long time ago. He just, So he could have pardoned more people we just don't know about. And I think one other person I was not surprised, but I didn't know if he was really going to be pardoned or not. Bernie Madoff, who had the big scandal a while back with the Ponzi schemes in the early 2000s. And he served like a 150-year sentence. So I didn't know, just because of how he handled a lot of people's money. So I didn't know. I mean, I didn't think he was going to get pardoned, but I know some people also kind of wondered about that one. So Joe Exotic and Bernie Madoff and Bobby Shmurda did not make the cut. So our good man Bobby Shmurda will be, I think he's going to be released soon this year. So that's something to look forward to, everyone. We love Bobby. Free Bobby. Put Kodak back in.
He still has trials to get through, right?
Who, Kodak or Bobby?
Black Kodak.
Yeah.
So he might get put back. Who knows?
Who knows? But free Bobby. We need some new Bobby. I'll tell you that. Okay.
Like I said a few days ago, if you were pardoned by Trump, like that already tells me enough about what's going on, or maybe even character, except minus one, like I said before. But I don't trust that. I don't trust that man. And like who he had pardoned, I'm like, if you're grouped into that bunch, just know that doesn't look good on you. Like
the worst
forever within history. What did you say, Atia?
worst of the worst.
The worst of the worst. Like, to be pardoned by that man is, I don't know. Like, I do not want that on my record. But I mean, you obviously did something criminal to have something on your record. Not again, like if it's marijuana or anything like that, is I'm not saying that. But like if it's sexual assault, rape, or any allegations or of fraud, theft, any of that, then I'm just like, I am disgusted in general. Do I believe that a lot of these rappers shouldn't have weapons on them? You probably shouldn't be riding around with a weapon. Like, we see this with T.I. too, I want to mention, but he wasn't pardoned or anything, but just like repeat offenders for certain things like this. Like, you know you're gonna get caught if you're, and it was told by me to my what's it called, my driving instructor. If you blast music, you driving, erratically or anything like that, then you're gonna obviously be like, you're gonna catch the eye of a police officer. And if you catch the eye of the police officer and you probably not even doing anything wrong, someone pulls you over, tries to search your car, and then they're gonna see that your gun is not in the proper place, then what are we going to do? Like, what are they going to do? They're going to take you in. They don't necessarily, you might have not have done anything. You might have not blown the tire. You might have not had a headlight out, but they will check your tire just because you're a black person with dreads or anything like that. And they will, racial profile you. And that's not necessarily good. However, I'm just saying, like, having those like conversations with young people is sometimes, it hurts, but it's the truth. And speaking the truth, I always speak the truth. And y'all already know that. It's just, Lil Wayne should have known better of like having a gun or anything like that. And then Kodak Black, you hit women, so I don't really have sympathy for you.
Well, on a lighter note, our friend, well, not really our friend, but DaniLeigh, the singer, also known as the baby's girlfriend, released a snippet of her song Yellowbone, which is being criticized for colorism. And she issued a series of tweets about how people shouldn't hate on her, like she's just, receiving her blessings, and that's who she is. She can't make a song for people that look like her. She's like, I'm Dominican, I'm white, I'm black, why are y'all hating? But if you're offended, like, I apologize. But then she got more criticism about that, so she deleted her Twitter account and took down her little snippet of the song. And so everybody's like, what happened? But she's like, oh, I'm cool, I'm over here just chilling with the baby. So now she's like in this big colorism battle, like, what are you doing? What's going on? And it's just sparking a really big conversation, because also people are like, the song was trash anyway. Like, it didn't sound like anything.
I heard that snippet. I could hardly make out anything she was saying. I was like, what? It was too low.
Mm-hmm. The baby whisper.
The beat was kind of good, though. I'm not gonna lie, the beat was kind of good. But
okay, first off,
you ain't got nothing good to say.
So that transition was crazy. What you just said. On a lighter note, it was terrible. That was awful.
Thank you.
We're in 2021. Where is the PR training? The girl, like,
I feel like they don't got none.
No,
they never have like a PR person, and if they do, that PR person needs to be fired. You need to get a new one, because they don't know what they're doing.
Like, every day it's like Miss Leigh or Lee. Like, come on, honey. Maybe that was in your little head. Maybe you had some kind of imitation of life thing going on. I don't know. But no one needed to know that. Like, no one needed to hear that. Like, no one needed to hear that. You know, and the thing is, people can be their little whatevers all inside their head. That's maybe some people's got those little complexes, but no one needs to know. You know, it's like these little girls. I mean, they just set themselves up, and it's like what. I don't know. Also, I heard like she was trying to get back at the baby's baby mama, because you know they are of contrasting skin tones. She's a darker skinned woman, and
why? What's the point?
She was like,
she ain't done nothing but give birth to a baby.
But you know, she was like,
I'm out here trying to live her life, taking care of her kid.
She's like, yellow bonus, what he wants.
That's so rude.
I don't know.
Why people be hating on baby mamas? Like,
I know.
Like, unless they're attacking you, don't be hating.
Right.
Like, they're just out here. They just living their lives. They're trying to like take care of themselves and their kid. You know.
I will say I'm surprised that her and the baby are still together. I didn't really expect it to last this long. Right. I thought that was like, you know, a little weekend fling or something. So.
But doesn't he get back with his baby mama like every other month anyway?
Exactly. That's why I was like.
Oh, that's probably why she hated.
Exactly. Even though if you in the little interviews with baby mama, she's like, yes, we're together. But like she'll be like, yes, we've been together. You know, like that. She gives me the vibes like if I don't know why, if I was interested in the baby like that, I just feel like, well, I don't know, I wouldn't try it. She gives me don't try it vibes. So I mean, Miss Leigh,
that sounds like a mess.
I don't know. I don't see I don't know. I don't know.
First of all, his name is the baby. Why would a grown freaking woman be with a man named the baby? He is facing charges of concealing a weapon, like we were talking about before. You're talking about this man is facing criminal charges. Now, for a woman who thinks she's a bad A, you know, a boss woman, you want to be with a freaking criminal. I'm just saying. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to say that right there. But I don't see how she wants people to covet her skin or skin tone, and she thinks she's better than other people, or she might think that her skin tone means some sort of thing. I'm just being honest. I'm being real honest tonight. I'm being very honest. But I just don't feel like you should like project to others your insecurities, to be honest. Like if you think the only thing that you have going for you is your skin tone, then what's underneath? Like, honestly, I don't see Keisha Cole. I don't see Ashanti. Like, if we're talking about people from back in the day, I don't see like anyone before. And so I do see your name, but I see it alongside Chris Brown at the end of the day, because that's the only like network that you have. So it's getting late tonight. But I'm just telling the truth. I am telling the truth. And sis, that if you want your money and you want to grab the bag, you need to drop the insecurities that you have, all those bricks, all those rocks behind you, because there are people and the R&B singers who are very successful because they do not like covet that skin issue that you might have. So that's how I'm leaving the situation.
It's a ray of sunshine. Wow.
Oh. Wow. Wise words.
I think that's gonna conclude that. Real quick though, guys. I mean, we can cut it too, but real quick though, guys, our Bay of the Week I know who it is. I'm just gonna tell you guys. I mean, come on, guys. Question for all of you: do you guys know what a ceiling is?
Yeah.
A ceiling?
Yeah, a ceiling. But you know who doesn't? Miss Lori Harvey.
Yes.
A young woman who is taking the world by storm by saying absolutely nothing, but making big moves. She is the true epitome of moves in silence. I've never heard her voice a day in my life, and yet somehow she is dating all my boyfriends. Future. And Diddy. But, you know, everybody else. And that's okay. But I just wish... Well, actually, no. I mean, realistically, y'all, we're not on the same. I mean, like, money-wise, connect-wise, I mean, we're not the same. But I feel inspired. And I think she's a great representation of how any young Black girl should be in her 20s.
So, absolutely. Michael B. Jordan is definitely an upgrade.
Yes.
Before that?
Considering, I think she was with Diddy before. That's the last person I remember her dating.
Diddy's son. I don't know.
Guys, she tried to date the whole Diddy family.
She living.
I think she was with Christian before that.
Yeah, she was. She was the son. Then the dad.
Both brothers.
Anyway, I love it.
Just, I don't know. Good for her. Yeah, girl, do your thing. And don't break his heart. I mean, you probably will. It's cool. But if you do, let me know.
You're gonna be there to pick up the pieces.
And with that, everyone, Marlon, and everyone, the book.
I'll give it as the stay guy.
The book is closed.